Welcome to one of many anime and simulcast discussion podcasts out there called the Divergence Cast. I am one of your hosts, a convoluted and slightly dumb opening, JJ. I am joined by a constantly ringing phone, Alex,
Yo.
and a man not suffering from Higurashi PTSD anymore, Stranger.
Domo.
And today we shall talk about anime. But first, our weeks. So, how about you, Alex?
Well, I had to miss we had to cancel the last show because of my power outage and whatnot, but
Damn you.
and I wanted to say so much. But I've just been, reading. Started alongside us revisiting the Wheel of Time. I started a new book called The Lies of Locke Lamora,
Hmm.
and besides doing that, I've just been playing games as usual and watching anime.
Mm-hmm. And
Still watching the Ghost Story stuff. Still watching Anako on the Bridge, and as you might have seen Stranger react happily about on Twitter, I right now I'm actually currently 10 episodes in on Higurashi.
And for the record, I actually bribed him to watch that with a Humble Bundle.
Not so much. I don't want to even consider Bribe now that I'm enjoying it. It's sort of like worth doing that. It's like
so you wasted a humble bundle, stranger.
No regrets. Then I'm gifted another Humble Bundle to Head in exchange for him drawing two Higurashi characters.
Yeah.
I've just been throwing those around left and right.
And anything else, Alex?
nothing much besides that.
All right. How about you, stranger?
Let's see. Started Wind Waker HD last night, which has probably been like 8 or 9 years since I last played Wind Waker. And the echo is back. Okay, that's good. And then I also listened to freaking 4 hours of Fukirata after finally listening to it. It is so damn catchy.
Are you going to go for the full 10 hours like Adam did?
Oh yeah.
Echo.
Echo.
And it looks like it's coming from Alex every time I see the box. It sort of flashes on him.
I actually had mine on mute.
Huh.
So
Weird.
wait, Adam listened to the full 10 hours of the.
That's what he told me.
Yes, it did.
I don't even think
Time for the next.
I don't remember lasting like 10 minutes watching that.
Is
I've
it
actually watched
casual
other I've
fare?
actually watched other ones longer, I think.
Just watched 2 hours of my boy.
Yeah.
Oh, and then I also finally finished Yu Hakusho manga after like
Hmm.
years and years. Like I started in high school
Yeah.
and marathon like 40 chapters in one night to finish it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still the absolute king of battle shonens.
Yeah, I remember watching the anime way back when, but it's been forever since I've seen it.
I'm not sure how the anime is, but I know the manga's great.
I think I remember liking it a little bit, but yeah, that was a long time ago, like when it was still airing on Toonami, I think. Let's see, anything else?
Nope.
All right, me, I've gotten back into playing Warframe again, and I also read more of Knights of Sidonia, which I'm kind of hoping the second season will try to get more on tracks with the mangas because they kind of cut out some pretty interesting intrigue in the first season of the anime. But really, outside of that, it's mostly been school for me. And next week is finals. Oh God. Anyways,
That's
moving.
gonna be fun.
Yep, yep, it will. So, anyways, moving on then. Simulcasts. So first up, Log Horizon. So, what did you guys think of the latest episode?
Glad they're back in
Yeah,
Shidoe's arc now.
yeah.
Finally away from all the angst. Oh my goodness.
And that's not to like devalue the finishing
Yeah,
episode for the
yeah,
Akihabara arc, because I thought it actually ended pretty
yeah.
well.
pretty well for the arc, but overall it was sort of
It's the thing. It's like you
yeah
started off what 3 or 4 episodes during Shiroe's raid, and you couldn't
yeah
have had a better start, and then you just sort of shift like
yeah there
so at the weirdest time too
yeah it
to
felt so out of
just
place to do it. Like you were in the middle
it's
of one arc and then you cut to this other arc and now you're finally back to the first arc. So it felt really weird.
yeah.
On the upside, I liked how they showed sort of the cross timeline where uh Akatsuki's arc and Shiro's arc sort of crossed over at that one point in the and how he sort of explains it more interestingly, like how the server they were on was the like the test server and it was on the moon and stuff.
Hmm.
You didn't really get that much from Akatsuki's point of view because she wouldn't really have known that, but
Yeah.
it was interesting to hear Shiroe's thoughts on it.
Yeah. And also, actually, the one weird thing is that with Akatsuki, was passed off as character growth, just I'll agree with strangers, came off as very angsty.
Mm-hmm.
But with Shiroe, to me, felt a lot better.
Yeah.
So, like to me, it's actually whereas Akatsuki's just sort of being whiny. Shiroe is just like realizing he needs to be a little more forthcoming to the people he's working with.
Yeah.
So to me, it just felt better done on Shiroe's part for the character growth.
Yeah, definitely.
It,
And
it was kind of weird seeing a real life version of him too during that
yeah,
one scene.
the
Uh,
animation it felt I mean they sort of did that as well with Akatsuki in her flashback, but felt so much weirder seeing Shiroi in his
Yeah,
sort.
I don't remember it being that pronounced during Akatsuki's
Yeah, it felt more
scene either.
cellular in
in a way,
this.
she looked more like her counterpart in the game, where Shiroe
Yeah.
sort of looked a little more distinct.
And though I will say the heels were weird, just seeing her in heels. Though I suppose that would make sense for her character since she doesn't really like being short. Yeah. And let's see, what else happened in the last episode?
Wasn't really too much going on. Just a
Yeah.
lot of it
So
was him in that little dream world.
and
Yeah.
there's also this,
Oh yeah, and how they
how
were
three bosses,
defeated and
just three
stuff.
bosses coming in out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah. But really, it's sort of like a continued starter because you sort of skipped over, sort of since you had Akatsuki's arc sort of cut off the middle. It sort of feels like it's starting a new arc, even though it's sort of continuing the first arc of season two. So it's feeling more slower again. Anywho, I guess moving on. Rage of Bahamut. So, as always, it's still continuing to be very enjoyable, and it's starting to get some pretty nice intrigue with the king sort of being corrupted into
uh,
thinking that John d'Arc would try to kill him and stuff.
uh,
And it also stated how awesome having a zombie necromancer in the party is.
uh,
Yeah,
but what was I gonna say? I found it interesting how what's her name, Amida,
yeah,
is
I
actually
mean,
only like mentally, and how they actually aged. What is it that they did?
it's like
They had
3 or
advanced her
4.
aging essentially.
Yeah, she was like not that old when but they advanced her age when they
And
captured that
at,
one
at
angel.
first, yeah, at first I thought that the way they're gonna explain that is just sort of have her being an airhead,
Yeah,
or she just doesn't, being a demon, she doesn't really know much about the world and all that. But I thought that was a pretty
yeah,
interesting explanation.
it's it was pretty good explanation. Honestly, it's not just that she's dumb; it's that she's mentally young.
Hmm.
So I thought it fit in pretty well with her character. And
Yeah,
I liked all that stuff with the one guy who's not actually her father, but talking about how he was sort of a knight who guarded her and her mother, who was a fallen angel, sort of.
Yeah.
And
I'm actually sort of glad I took that turn because I was like,
yeah,
how would it be if he was actually her father?
yeah, it was a pretty nice, some more pretty nice intrigue to the series, I thought.
Hmm.
And of course, all the banter with Favreau and stuff when they're basically getting knighted,
Hmm.
and Rita as well.
Yeah.
It's
He was
like
like,
maybe
it's like
now
knighted.
we're and like how Rita's like maybe now they'll be sentencing us to death or something.
It was like just the most blatant of gallows humor. It's like, and she just says it like, oh well. It's not like she could die in the first place. So
Yeah.
it would only be Favreau and Kaiser
Kaiser.
would die.
Yeah.
Because if they had gone that way, it'd be some story bullshit that saved Hamida anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I like how uh Kaiser's like he finally gets to be a knight again. So
mm.
exactly what he was wanting.
Uh, trying to remember. He's probably. I mean, he's still probably gonna go with him though.
Yeah.
I don't imagine.
Yeah, I imagine as well.
But it
I'm
just also at the end it was like what happened to the guy at the end. Just a sort of
Oh
like
yeah.
dullness. His head just falls off.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
He's
just
out. He was obviously killed.
yeah.
All that. And I was like, I know it was meant to be like a horrified scream. I just sort of laughed at the king scream. It was like very high pitched. So I was just
The
sort of
king
laughing
in
at it.
general is so goofy, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like he's kind of a mother's boy when you get that flashback of his mother, but at the same time he's so just I don't know, it's just so freaking goofy of a character.
He's like, why didn't I get the sword?
Yeah, and
I was
just
like, you didn't do jack shit. You just told people to move out.
yeah,
Jean is the actual person with the power here, so of course
basically.
she was gonna get the sword.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, all I really like the characters in this series. They're just so freaking varied and fun and just enjoyable. Like they perfectly hit the sort of D&D sort of fantasy characters while also
Hmm.
sort of nailing a personality of say a player character or something.
Hmm.
Like sort of goofy sometimes, but at the same time switching over between serious and humor. It
Hmm.
honestly just nails the whole tabletop sort of feel to it, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think I have encountered like maybe besides the guy from Grisaia. Probably I would say probably the best male character is Favreau this
Oh,
year in my
definitely.
opinion.
Honestly,
'Cause I'll definitely agree with Adam said. He's an afro mulleted Jack Sparrow
ginger
essentially.
afro mulleted Jack Sparrow. But yeah, he basically just nails the suave or not suave, sort of goofy, roguish mentality, but sort of just going with the flow and sort of going along with stuff, but at the same time, sort of having his own little niche to him.
Hmm.
Just, just he's just really fun character, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far, honestly, Rage of Bahamut Genesis is quickly becoming my favorite series of the year. If it just continues to just continues the level of quality it has for like the next 4 episodes, it will, without a doubt, be my favorite series of the year.
Uh, Here's the thing. I'm hoping it like, and then I almost get the sense it's gonna be more than one season.
Yeah, I
That's the thing. I'm
honestly,
getting the sense that's what's gonna happen because one, it seems to be popular.
yeah, definitely.
Two,
Like
they have the
it's,
butt.
yeah,
They have the budget to do
they
it.
basically have a blank check.
And I don't know. I just really, you know, I just don't want it to wind up like some of the series this year, like Kaku City Actors or Terran Resonance,
Yeah.
that just doesn't feel quite wrapped up
Plus,
after just like 12 episodes.
plus, it's not actually being based off any actual story. It's basically an
Hmm.
original story, so it could wrap up any way it wanted to, but it could also go on as well. So there is honestly room for more, without
Hmm.
actually having to like wait for anything to continue it.
I was gonna say, just this show in general sort of has me. really excited for their future output, MAPPA,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if
Honestly,
you saw it. I'm not sure if you saw it.
I
They're
know
doing
what
it.
you're
They're doing
talking
it.
about. I'm
Yeah, they're doing the next anime they're doing for the spring season. I think
yeah,
it is.
I'm
You
a
know,
little bit iffy on the concept, but I'll definitely be giving it a try for
that's the thing.
sure.
Like in a way, with Terran Resonance, how even despite its problems, it's still a very enjoyable
Yeah.
show. Rage of Bahamut, how great
Yeah.
it's been. Mine and
And
yours, arguably anime of the year.
I would
And
also
not
call
to mention that new anime that they're doing is also written by
yeah.
the director of the Zero Escape series.
Mm.
I'm personally excited for.
Yeah,
I
see,
know that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
MAPPA in general, like they've quickly shot up to like my second favorite studio right now, like between
Mhm.
Rage of Bahamut, Terror and Resonance, Garo, the animation, and even TQ was enjoyable, even if it's sort of insane. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to more stuff from them for
From them.
sure.
So yeah, like I'm looking for like I'll agree with you that the concept seems a bit out there, but that's why like especially because of Rage about how good Bahamut is, I'm just really looking forward to their future output.
Yeah, definitely.
And also good news, if you haven't seen it, apparently the single for the opening is coming out
Yeah,
on the 11th.
yeah, I remember hearing that as
Because
well.
I just been waiting for that to drop.
Yeah,
Because it's like me and my
if
brother and I think even you said it.
yeah,
It's hard not to turn that song all the way up when you're
pretty
listening
much.
to it.
Honestly, even if somehow Rage of Bahamut didn't end up being my favorite series this year, it would the opening easily would.
Mm.
Like before I watched it, I was calling Garo my favorite opening purely for the visuals, but
Mhm.
Rage of Bahamut just blows everything else this year out of the water, honestly.
And this is sort of the funny thing about the Bahamut opening is that I usually save, simulcasts watching and whatnot for when I'm just sort of getting comfortable at night.
Yeah.
So I'm just like laying down and I'll just put that on and I'm just like thrashing about because I'm getting into the song.
Yes. The opening is just so freaking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I'll just like, me and my brother will just sing it out of nowhere.
And honestly, when if you look at the lyrics themselves, they really
Hmm.
sound pretty good.
Hmm.
Like just the whole feeling to them is honestly I really like.
Yeah.
Like something about uh all I need to be is me or something, and it's just honestly really good lyrics.
It's just, man, it's just, it's catchy for a metal song. This is like
Yeah.
sort of more like, power pop metal, I guess you could call
Yeah.
it. Power hip hop. No, power new metal or something like that.
Yeah. But
It's hard to really nail it's hard to nail a genre for that band.
yeah. And yeah, it's like I have heard Sim's other songs, and well, I meant the only other one was forgot what it was called. Shit. But it was some chick's name or another Western chick's name. But well, actually, a lot of their songs tend to be actually in English. Like if you
Yeah,
actually listen to the lyrics of
yeah, yeah.
"Existence" in Rage of Bahamut, most of it's in English.
The strangest thing is that I didn't notice it was English until my brother pointed it out to me.
Yeah.
Because I was more just something I usually do with music is I sort more it's more the sound that I pay
Yeah.
attention to, like the overall sound. The lyrics sort of tend to get a little lost for me, like depending on unless it's like in English and I know what they're saying. It's like
Yeah.
I just assume and it's the same thing with the Barakamon closing that I was more in love with the sound of the song as opposed to paying attention to any lyrical content.
Yeah.
So
I
when he pointed out it was in English, I'm like, oh, I feel like a moron.
Well, there are little bits in Japanese, but for
I
the
know.
most part,
But the
it's
first lyrics, the first lyrics generally, like the first
yeah,
like 3 or 4 lines are in English. So it's for me not to catch that, I'm American,
yeah,
it's just funny. And I think that just shows that I pay more attention to the sound, if anything.
yeah. But yep, I'm definitely looking for more for Age of Bahamut. And I guess moving on, I guess since we talked about Age of Bahamut for so much, you guys can talk about Grisaia.
What did you think, Stranger?
oh my god, it is freaking amazing.
Oh man, Uh, when he did that, it's like I had a feeling it was coming when I had a feeling Yuji was gonna kill the one chick. What's her name? 'Cause I always
Um,
forget. I always forget some of the names in the show.
who are you talking about?
The girl.
No, I was pretty sure we usually wouldn't do that. I just figured he was gonna badass his way out of it like he does everything.
That's what I figured. Is like especially when they built up the girl's mom as like the supreme bitch. When they showed like what she was doing when they killed the girl's father and she had to watch them do that. And then just the way her reaction was when she's in the hospital. It's like I had a feeling it's like there's no way she gets out of this alive. I just didn't expect him just delivery. They make a noise and you're dead. And he actually kills the secretary too, I think. Or does he? Or no? I
I think he does.
Yeah. I was like, man. I was like,
But
wow. I just wasn't expecting that. And just I guess just the way he did, I thought there's just like sort of be like off screen or something like that that her mother got killed.
oh no, you should already know by now this show ain't like that. It'll
Yeah, I
just
know.
sit there and do it just right on screen without giving a shit.
And it's just to see that like that part especially is like, oh, man. I was like, how fucking badass is he?
Yeah, once her mom, like once Makina's mom started talking about harvesting her
Mm-hmm.
organs for the other daughter, yeah, she just was not gonna stand for that. She was like,
Yeah,
"Fuck
like,
this shit! I'm just gonna bring it over his revolver and sit there and blow her head off."
and I love that his handler, I can't remember her name, just he was pretty much fine with it. It's like, whatever.
Yeah,
She's like she had it coming. It's like screw her. Like I
yeah,
said,
no
it
problems.
could have.
Yeah, so long as they all died, we don't have to worry about them anymore.
Yep. But I would say otherwise. As much as I enjoyed the episode or the last two episodes, especially since we weren't able to talk about the last one, I still say like where you seem to have been like really impressed by this episode. And while I liked it, I still sort of felt like the pacing was, or just the fact that it has to be like sort of done quickly, still sort of held it back for me.
Yeah, at least it was split into two episodes, unlike the last couple arcs.
Yeah,
So
but
I
that's what
thought
I'm
it
least
was
happy
actually
about.
pretty
Just
well paced by comparison. And
it's like it's just now that I'm watching Higurashi and like based on like a few other series that I watch, it's just sort of a shame they couldn't get a longer order for the series because it just
yeah,
feels like it could be so much more than what it is, or so
yeah,
much
even
better than what it wound up as. And as it is, it's good. As it
I
is, it's a good
compare it to
show. It's
Angel
just
Beats
yeah,
because it's still fantastic, even though its pacing is really off.
yeah. Like it's like that's the thing. I would I like I treat that. I look at this show like like you said, like Angel Beats, where there hasn't been a bad episode yet, in my opinion.
Yeah, just
It's just that
goes
like
from
just
awesome to awesome.
yeah. It's just that it could be so much better have done so much better if they gave it a little more time as opposed to just the 12 episode order it got.
Yeah, I'd say that, but even so, it's already on the 10th spot on my favorite animes of all time.
I saw that.
Oh, and what did you think of Makina sitting there and suddenly tackling that dude who was coming after her with a gun?
Oh, what happened?
Um, you remember how Makina suddenly flew out of that room and tackled the
Yeah,
dude
that
and
was
put him in a
hilarious.
sleeper hold?
That was hilarious. I thought that was great.
Yeah,
It's just like, and
she
it's like,
could definitely hold her own. That was
mm
freaking awesome.
it was just, it showed that, Yuji wasn't just, damn it, just small
Oh
talk.
my
Small
god.
talk.
Why? Another cameo appearance.
Yep, yep. Telephone. Ring. Fuck. Every single episode.
Why are you sounding
Every
so
single.
quiet and echoing?
I have no
My
idea.
epilogues.
Okay.
Where was I?
I think we echo every time you mute your mic.
I don't know why I would do that. I mean, I'm putting it on mute for Christ's sake.
I have
But
no idea.
where was I? Where
We
were
were
we?
on Grisaia. We were
Like I
talking
said,
about
it's
Machina.
yeah, it's showing that Eugene just he wasn't just doing anything. He was making sure that she knew how to protect herself in the case that they got separated.
Yeah, that was awesome. You don't really see too many heroines in an anime who can actually sit there and defend themselves like that.
Hmm.
Especially a kind of younger character like that. And yeah, she just gave no fucks. Like, she just tackled the shit out of him and said, like, started counting to six to make sure he was knocked out.
Yeah. And it just made it more, her just doing that made it fucked up how they were just kicking her while she was down. It's like, you pieces of shit.
They
Because like
usually
your kid is
came
like,
out of you.
oh, he's just like he just got mad. He's just mad that he got choked out by like what? How old is she supposed to be in the show?
I don't have a clue.
Well, either way, he got choked out by this tiny girl, and so he just pissed off.
Yeah, and then when you saw Yuji at the end of the hall, you knew they were just screwed.
Hmm.
I swear, he needs one of those Pulp Fiction wallets.
But, I was gonna say, when they were like in the war room trying to direct and like find them, the one guy that they just sort of threw in to be like the director of like all the forces going after Yuji just sort of just annoying. He's like, I'm just here to be an asshole. So that's it.
I just realized Yuji's kind of like Nine from Zankion no Terror,
Hmm.
Hmm.
only more badass. Like, legitimately the most badass character I think I've ever seen in an anime.
Yeah. And I was just like blown away just what he did.
Yeah, man, this I cannot wait to see what happens next because I think next is Amane's arc, right?
I don't know. Is
Pink
it
haired
the only
girl
girl?
who keeps
Yeah, yeah,
clinging on her.
yeah. Because she hasn't had an arc yet. Yeah, that probably be the next one.
So I'm guessing she's probably getting a two-parter right now, and then I'm not sure what's going to happen in the last two episodes.
Hmm.
Probably some sort of Yuji arc.
Yeah. That would probably make the most sense. Because they focus on everybody else and they get to really focus on him. So that probably is what's how that's probably how the order is gonna play out.
Anything else about?
Nothing.
Okay. Guess moving on. Gugure kokkuri-san, and I can't actually remember what happened, so you'll have to remind me, Alex.
Pretty much Kokiri was stressing out. In the first half, he
Oh
was
yeah,
stressing out about losing.
the bald.
He was just shedding. He was just shedding, but he was like taking it as I'm balding, and I'm like
Oh
still
yeah.
so young. And I'm trying to
And
remember what the
then
second
and
half.
in the later in the first half, he basically puts on all that hair grower, and he just becomes this
Giant
basically a
football.
basically just a giant tribble.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I'm not sure if either of you are familiar with Storm Dorgerson,
Storm
but
Dorg.
he did a lot of art for prog rock bands or progressive rock bands, or like various rock bands. And back in the day, he passed away like last year I think or 2 years ago, but he used to do a lot of album covers and there's quite a few of them that he sort of uses sort of like size differential as like a major theme. And so when I was watching the episode, and I even like saved the picture and posted it on Twitter, the part when he's just a giant fluffball in the yard, and you just see the rest of them just like talking to him out the yard, just reminded me if he had ever made an anime. Because of the use of perspective. Have you ever do you listen to Dream Theater, Stranger, or no?
Yeah, do I list a few songs about them?
Yeah, Storm Dorgan's probably. I think he made a couple album covers for them. So if you might see some of his work. I don't think he's like sort of the big small perspective in any of their albums, but there's a couple of albums he did for them, I think.
Yeah.
And then in the second half of Kokiri, it was Inugami pretty much just sort of being
Oh
forgotten.
yeah. Oh yeah, and then there's like an arc in between, in like the middle of the first arc,
Yeah,
where it's like Inugami,
Kohina Theater.
yeah, Koina
Kohina
Theater,
Theater.
and she can't think of anything to say about Kokuri-san. And
Uh,
as far as that the whole giant kokkuri-san puffball, how the whole part where they're talking about shaving him and then
Mhm.
basically shave him naked, where it's just
Yeah,
this small hairless dog.
yeah.
That was hilarious. And oh, and the part like earlier in the episode where he's thinking of himself being bald, and at first he's like, if I'm going to be bald, I want to at least look like Sean Connery. And
Yeah,
then when you actually see what he thinks of himself bald with his fox ears, it just does not look right at all.
yeah.
Like a
It's just like
bald head and bald
just two
ears.
pointy ears.
It
And
just looks wrong.
I also thought the way he was acting just made how trying to make a joke. It's like you have a white hair and the whole like you have white hair.
Yeah.
And she just saw it as like I'm a master of like surreal comedy.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just thought that was funny because he's like here he is just like about to go god mode on her because he's just pissed off. And then she's like trying to figure out it's like he doesn't find my brilliant humor funny.
Yeah. Overall, it was an enjoyable episode, but can't think of what else to say about it.
I can't think of anything else either.
All right. I guess moving on. Amagi Brilliant Park. This this week's episode was
Right?
probably my least favorite episode of the series so far.
I,
It,
I still say that goes to the pirate episode for
I
me.
I actually
Yeah.
enjoyed the pirate a little, but this one it started off all right, but it really didn't go anywhere interesting with it. Like even the mascot characters in the actual episode were commenting on how lame it was. Like, yeah, they could have done it better, honestly. It just went for so many of the atypical paths with it. I felt like it didn't do anything that actually felt sort of different or enjoyable. I don't know. And it was
I guess I could see your beef with it. I just sort of thought it was just overall more. I'll give it higher marks than the pirate episode because it's just at least it trying to develop the relationship between the elementals.
mm, but it didn't really
Like
do
I said,
that.
and here's like
It felt,
we're understanding it tried to build like
but
camaraderie between them.
it
So
didn't
it did it
really,
in a half-assed way,
yeah, really
admittedly, but
half-ass, honestly.
like I said, I thought the episode started out good, good concept for the episode, but just sort of as it went on, sort of got less
Yeah,
and
the
less interesting. I
concept
still
was,
either way,
yeah,
I think I at least had some more enjoyment watching this one as opposed to the pirate episode. I was like, man, this just feels like
yeah.
filler.
Like I said, it started out fine, but it really didn't progress really in any way interesting to me. And even the humor, basically the entire second half of the episode was sort of boring, all sorts of boring to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, at
And
least,
then I
yeah.
guess I'm the only one here who personally loved it.
Mm,
Like I've been wanting a Elementario episode for weeks, and what I got this week was pretty great.
mm,
I really liked seeing like just how interesting characters' interactions with each other were.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Because you
I think
you
I
would
might have
think
liked. No, go ahead, go ahead.
they would have got along really well, but then you see them just fighting and bickering and just being so out of sync with each other.
Hmm.
So it was pretty cool seeing them go through all that stuff to like start to realize where their issues are.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Latifah, it was really funny seeing how sly she was about getting them to work together with that button.
Yeah.
To press it under any circumstances. That big button with the cover taken off while I leave for a while.
Here's like I'll admit that I found it like I'll admit that I found it some of the gags that happen now. I think when they're doing the Dance Dance Revolution one, how if they answered wrong, or it might have been the typing one, they just dropped the pan on their head.
Yeah, that was
I
funny.
thought some of the gags are funny. funnier than I think JJ found them. But like
they were all
I was
right, but
like I was
yeah,
gonna say, I think had the episode been earlier in the
yeah,
season, it might have felt better. As it
it
is the
doesn't
way
have
to
the
play
yeah,
like to me to place it where it was sort of it's to me it's
yeah,
like sort of 3 straight filler episodes it's given us at least you know I at least enjoy 2 of them, but that's what it's sort of felt like to me lately. That's just filler.
yeah, yeah. It's starting to feel like a range of filler, though. I can't remember. Does no? The series doesn't do previews, so I don't. We
They do the attraction thing at the
yeah.
end, so
I can't. Some series seem to do previews and some don't. So I'm never quite sure which ones do. So hopefully tomorrow's episode will be, will not be just filler.
yeah. 'Cause it's sort of it's needed an episode that just sort of move the story forward.
Yeah.
Why should be an entire episode based on the Stegosaurus hunching over?
Stegosaurus. Yeah.
I was actually gonna say, I do wish they would use the dragon more, because
Yeah.
I thought the part when Mothra was trying to, they're trying to attack the castle, and they just wound up getting blown up anyway. That was a pretty funny part.
Yeah.
Also, to bring up the last episode, since we couldn't last time, or we couldn't do it last week, you would think they would have assigned better people to take place of Kanye than they did, especially with Macaron and Tiramier.
But wouldn't it have been
And
as funny?
yeah, I know. It's just you would think, they would think something there. At least with Sento and Moffle, they'll act more in line, possibly with how he actually is.
Unless you
But then you're just
call him a ripoff.
yeah,
Oh, as far as the episode before this one, the whole part where Muffle goes off and talks about how the Latifah's father sort of married the woman he liked, and
yeah,
now her father asked him to protect her and stuff. I thought that did a lot of interesting characterization for Muffle.
yeah.
That was a pretty intense moment.
Yeah, and then
I
Kanye
also
comes.
like yeah, like I also like how he dressed up as the other guy, the two, because it just showed that he knew they were going to screw something up.
Yeah.
Because they pretty much, especially who was it? Who's the cat again? Tadamie?
I think I can't remember.
So I'm pretty sure Macaron is the
Yeah,
other.
Macaron's the sheep.
Yeah. Here's like the
Oh,
Tadamie is just
by the way, the voice actress that voices Macaron also voiced female kokkuri-san in the last couple of episodes.
yeah. I was trying to remember who that was, which one, because I saw you mention something about that, but uh, like I was saying, it's just you have you let Tadamie go as Kanye like when he's obviously the most like perverted mascot of the three.
And let him
So,
go into a school full with that has lots of high school girls.
uh,
Not a good idea.
and also there was a when a I think it was Macaron, how he had his he had his head
Oh,
upside down.
and yeah, Macaron, how he's like at how he acts with sort of the uh sort of rough and tumble sort of
Uh,
high school.
he would have
I'm not
fit right. He would have fit
Poncho.
right. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you think the stranger he would have fit right in, and a character like him would have fit right in Cromartie High School.
Yeah, he wouldn't have even been standing out at all. We just didn't get another character at freaking high school. Right over there with Freddie Mercury and all that.
And the
And
gorilla.
and then how he's telling the one chick a relationship or the one couple relationship advice since he had a divorce.
They were like, what the hell happened to Kanye?
Even more ridiculous is that nobody questioned the giant zipper on his head. It's like where people were questioning it,
Oh
it's so
yeah,
Yeah,
ever.
they were
what's going on.
questioning it.
And
The
he's
question is
and
just
they're
like they just like once he just sort of explained it off, it's like oh well, works for me.
Please don't take no notice of it.
and then there's those and when Sento had took the costume at first and then there's those three uh elementary or kindergarten kids and they're like I smell a girl and stuff, and it's like you can see the literal fear on Sinto's face as she's Kanye.
Hmm. I tell you, like for as much as horrifying as think of those kids are, JJ, there's a little girl in Arakawa under the bridge that is just absolutely ridiculous. It's like they lifted her out of like stuff like I can't remember. Might be North Star or something. Was that one series? Fist of the North
Fist of the
Star.
North Star.
Sort of combined with JoJo. There's this one character, this one little girl character that pretty much when she gets angry about something becomes like a giant hulking massive man. And like she's like would be twice as horrifying if like she actually existed.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else about Amagi Brilliant Park?
Uh,
Okay. Did you see today's Denki-gai?
yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty good episode, honestly. Not quite as overly comedic in the second half, but the way they
Yeah.
uh, I forgot what their names were. The yellow-haired chick and the guy voiced by the same actor as the main character from Comic Artist.
Hmm.
I liked how they showed their relationship sort of in the second half. It
Yeah.
was nice progression there.
Yeah.
And let's see, first half was
The Valentine's was hilarious
yeah.
because first it's them trying to make chocolates and yeah, Foo Girl just beating up a chocolate zombie. It's like now break it down. It's just just takes a baseball bat to a chocolate zombie.
Yeah.
And because Sensei couldn't give it to the main guy, like she was like too scared to do it. She's like eventually when it
Oh,
fast forwards to White
just
Day.
as far as the sensei she was just so freaking tsundere in that
Uh,
episode. Like
funny, it was like I found it so messed up that like she pretty much sicked Foo Girl on him
the
because
most
she didn't get
horrifying
chocolates when she
fate
was too
possible.
scared. She was too scared to give the chocolates to him in the first place.
So you have the little Lolita character that has a zombie thing beat him with a baseball bat. Oh god.
Like someone beating someone with a baseball bat. Should I pick up this series?
There's a character who is basically the Lolita of the series, but her whole thing is she's like a zombie survivalist nut, and she repeatedly beats up the main character with a baseball bat a number of times. And a lot of her stuff revolves around zombies and stuff. Uh, and of course, she threatens to beat a lot of people with baseball bats.
This sounds like it'll be something out of Sabagebu.
Yeah. And let's see what else about the episode.
Mm.
Uh, oh, there's that the whole thing with what's
Did
his
you
face
catch?
ex-girlfriend,
Yeah,
sort of her whole thing about she's finally deciding to give up on him,
yeah,
and how she basically felt like she was using the other people, but she finally decided it's time for me to give up on him.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was also some nice, pretty nice character progression.
I just sort of found it. I found it second half sort of surprising given how the episode started out, though,
Yeah,
because it's like it seems more. Whereas last episode was also pretty slow because it was it was the blonde haired girl sick, you know the ever threatening
yeah,
Japanese cold, or yeah pretty much the ever potent Japanese cold taking one of our cast members
yeah.
victim, and that was more of a quiet episode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
actually
it
sort
seemed
of felt like a mix of both a quiet and a sort of the more comedic with a quiet. Like the first half, it honestly felt more like the sort of the typical comedy I sort of see from the series every now and then, but the second half also felt like the more slower moments that I also see in the series, like how we were thinking that every other episode would probably
mhm,
be like a mix of very comedic and sort of more character progression and a bit slower.
yeah, yeah,
It felt like sort of a mix between them to me.
yeah. Like I was saying, to me that sort of was pretty happy this got more back to out there humor
Yeah,
as it has been. It was still good. I enjoyed it though.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
definitely. Yeah, okay. I guess moving on, you guys can talk about Inou-Battle.
Hmm. Uh,
Atoko just keeps on and on being a better and better character.
yeah.
It so sucks that she's probably not gonna be the one that he ends up with.
I generally don't really care about the whole that aspect. Like, I don't really care who he winds up with because I'm still enjoying the show. But thinking of on it now, I actually really like how she confronts the redheaded girl.
Oh yeah,
I was like, do you like him? Or do you like what's his name again? I remember it sometimes and I forget, but well, the main guy. How But that's also what I sort of found ridiculous because that's sort of setting up the next couple episodes to either be irritating as all hell or entertaining. Because now it's just going to be, everybody's like, realizing their feelings for him. How's it going to wind up?
there's only one correct way. You gotta go full harem route like Ken Saki would want. I cannot help but keep comparing this to Satakano Ichizan.
Hmm. And this is the thing, where the last two episodes, or it sort of got back to how it was before, where it was just pretty much, it's sort of like, I would say the first half, or like the first three quarters of the episode, even, were more like how the first couple episodes were, where it was like, just club members doing absolutely nothing, and there's the show.
God,
And
I
then it
love it.
started, and then, and then it just starts with the little girl or the younger girl, and then everybody's like realizing their feelings. I gotta say that one guy that he's friends with that went to the bathroom to talk to the dark-haired chick.
Yeah.
I thought that his like motivations was just so weird. It's like
Who
he's
the
pretty
hell
much
was
taking.
that? Like, I can't remember him at all.
Pretty sure that was the guy that was in the office that was playing like he wanted his 3DS back or his DS back. I'm pretty sure that was his character.
Yeah, I completely forgot about him. That does sound
Yeah,
familiar, though.
I'm pretty sure that's him. So
It was weird.
like,
That's why
yeah,
she
it's like I
didn't stick
just
his head in the toilet.
like I said, just like I just found his motivations. Like I want to see your route win or something like that. It's like
He's the
wow
viewer
shit.
or the
Yeah.
reader.
Yeah, or the player if you wanted to be that way. If you want to take like visual novels instead. But yeah, his just motivations for Hellfinger is just like the strangest thing.
Oh my god, I need an Inou-Battle VN now.
Just read the
Why
light
do you
novel.
make me want this?
But yeah, I think I'm certain for you, the next couple episodes might be like, especially how depending on how they handle it, you'll like probably love it. I'm just
Maybe
not
I'll
sure
go.
how I'm gonna feel about the episodes.
Maybe I'll go full Nisekoi. That would be fun. You'd hate it.
Appearances.
Uh, no, it won't be fun. At least, given the credit to this one, at least the characters are aware of how they feel. Where in Nisekoi, it's just like, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel this way? 'Cause I can't. That's what I can't stand about Nisekoi. I was like, huh? She can't possibly, or he or she can't possibly like me. That's why, especially what I hate about that series. Especially,
Although
did you
Angela's
watch the
still
OVA?
totally oblivious.
Did you watch the OVA?
Yes, I did.
Especially in that first half, like, oh my god, where the glasses chick was essentially telling the guy that Onodera likes him. I was like, oh my goodness gracious.
And
That's what
I
I was
just,
pitching. That was when back when I watched that like what a month ago now, 3 weeks ago. That's what I was bitching about. That's what I just went on my little rant before I just went right back into the episode. It was like this is why I hate Nisekoi. This bullshit that they do like did during even in the first season
you
they
went,
did that. It's like oh
you,
my god,
you went
and you
like it's
love it.
so
You love
fucking
it.
terrible. Back to the show now.
It's like that said, back to the show.
That was amazing.
Alex
But
just went on a rant.
and then went right back to watching what he was complaining
Uh,
about.
that is sort of funny. It's just like god damn it, I hate this show. Okay, now I'm gonna keep on watching it.
Yeah, masochist man.
Full on masochist.
But
Yeah, but
yeah, it's
I'm hoping like that's sort of the difference between like I was saying that's pretty much the difference between Battle and something like Nisekoi. at least the characters are aware of how they feel. So,
Once again, most of them main characters still totally oblivious.
hmm
Wonder if he'll end up dropping the Chinny act in the last couple eps.
who knows? That's pretty much his thing. It's sort of like when he mentioned it's like how when he was like in middle school how he thought about to stop acting like a Chinibio. That sort of does signal that maybe he's thinking about, like you said, dropping the act. Oh, we'll see.
I'm still pretty hopeful for the end of the series
hmm
because they've been
What is
doing
it?
pretty good ever
12
since the
episodes,
first
right?
episode. Yeah, I think so.
Hmm. That's weird. It's actually done in a good. I think it's done pretty well for 12 episodes, to be honest.
Yeah, like there were some really good moments in it so far. Like episode 2 when Rant Hatako went on,
hmm
which I think is still my favorite scene from many of the animes I've seen this season. That was like really powerful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited to see where it ends up going.
All right.
And here's the thing. I'm trying to figure out also what's gonna happen next episode because it's supposed to be the start of summer, so that would signal it's like probably like a beach episode possibly coming, if I had to guess. But I
Oh,
don't know.
I think I remember hearing there's going to be a Nozaki-kun beach episode soon,
Hmm.
and
What?
yeah,
Like OVA or
OVA, yeah,
it's
and
supposed to be like an actual full like on
I do
episode, or is it
not
just because
know.
the OVAs that they released are only like 3 or 4 minutes.
I do not know,
So,
but I do remember seeing a picture of Chio in a polka dot swimsuit.
hmm.
That's the main
Well,
thing that stood out for me.
well, that's part of her whole design, polka dots.
Her favorite color? Polka dots. It's the new plaid.
hmm
All right. Anything else about Inou-Battle? No.
That's all I can
Okay.
think of.
I guess moving on. Lord Marksman and Vanadis. So another series I can't actually remember what happened this week. So what did happen, Alex?
Uh, More stuff. I know they came across that one red beard guy.
Red Beard. Wait, did I actually watch this week's episode? I
I don't
don't.
recall you ever talking about it, to be honest.
I might have
'Cause you
missed.
saw the last episode where they fought the one guy who was leading like the 15,000 people, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. Yeah, I haven't watched this week's episode, but I watched.
This week he was trying to negotiate with Ludmila,
Mm,
which if you can't remember that, you didn't watch the episode.
Yeah, I remember now. I was going to, but I sort of forgot over the weekend. And
Well, I guess we'll be moving on then.
all right. I guess then moving on. Lord Marksman and
You
or
just said that.
damn it. The
It was
seven
right back
deadly
on the.
the seven deadly sins. So I didn't get to talk about it last week, but Gila is probably my favorite villain yet. Like I'm
Y'all know who my favorite villain is? My phone. There you go.
but just getting back onto Gila, just her entire just her personality and her character design are just so
Her character.
freaking or
Yeah. Oh, finish.
just so freaking awesome and I she's just so awesome, well done of a villain, I thought. Admittedly, she's
Uh,
more lower end of the villains. Like she's like only an apprentice, if I remember right. I mean, I'm glad that they didn't kill her off, but I was kind of
uh,
wishing they were doing more awesome stuff with her.
uh, I sort of found it amusing they just left her tied to a tree with the face left on her. But I was gonna say, in terms of her design, I'm not sure if you ever watched Good Will Hunting, but she reminds me of an anime mini driver from Good Will Hunting.
I don't think I've watched Good Will Hunting.
But yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's pretty badass.
Yeah, and she's also voiced by the same Seiyu as Linesia from Log Horizon.
Hmm.
So that was a pretty interesting contrast between those two characters' personalities. But yeah, in general, I really liked her characterization, and I'm glad she's sort of not necessarily an overtly important villain, but she's sort of
hmm
still has a place in the whole scheme of the Holy Knights. Like she's like the whole thing with her giving the her with the one guy and as they give the that one chick from when we in the
The
bank
prison. The
prison
prison.
and that first guy in
He just blows up.
yeah, that scene was actually pretty surprisingly pretty graphic. Like you just see him get bit larger and more bloated, and then he pops, and then there's all the you sort of for
And
a
he's like, yeah,
moment see blood
yeah,
and
that's the
his
thing. That scene
spine.
actually sort of pulls the switcheroo because I was half expecting, the girl throws up blood, so it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
I
so she's
wasn't
gonna
really
handle it.
thinking it would be that because between the two characters, I'd say the larger guy would have been more expendable. So I was sort
Yeah,
of expecting some sort of switcheroo by that point.
yeah.
But yeah,
And I was gonna say, I agree with something I saw you say. This series has gotten so much better than I expected it to
yeah,
be.
like
And
just
as it is, I was higher on it than you when it
yeah,
first started. It's like, it's more than just sort of
yeah,
been like I'd expect it to be a good. It's like, this can be a good shonen fantasy to follow, even if it's
yeah.
not, even if it sort of lags at some point.
But
It's
yes,
only gotten better as it's gone
yeah.
on.
And honestly, I think it's because of how well they've been adding really good characters. Because my one of my biggest issues at the beginning was both Melodis and Elizabeth by themselves were
Hmm.
but now that they've added characters like Diana, and Ban and King
King.
all have their very own interesting personalities and bounce off each other really well. I
Yeah.
felt like
And even Meliodas' low points I thought actually came off as
yeah,
more funny this time.
yeah,
Like
he's got
he now sort of I think sort of fits his whole
yeah,
like laid back
yeah.
niche. And we
He's
also just find out that he pretty much demolished an entire
yeah,
kingdom. So that
yeah,
sort of adds a little bit of interest on his part.
yeah. I still say the parts where he's overly perverted are sort of out of place, but honestly, they're gradually improving his characters. I feel his
Well, I just thought that the thing is, I just sort of thought that joke was like pretty much I expected it and was still hilarious because it's like, what's happening to my body? It's like, I'll save you, Elizabeth. He's just squeezing her boobs. I just thought it was funny because they're fading away. She's trying to figure out what's going on, and it's like sort of just leaves itself open for that to happen, and it works.
yeah.
So it's I think the one instance so far that his perversion didn't feel weird.
Oh, and the whole stuff with King changing himself into his overweight form, and like
Yeah,
Van's the only one commenting on the fact that his physical features actually change.
uh,
That part was pretty hilarious. And then when he finds out that Elizabeth is like the princess, he goes into his overweight form and he has the whole neck collar thing.
uh,
It's like that's his royalty form.
hmm
And the whole stuff about the sacred treasures that King was talking about, and how like
What was it? Sold it, lost it,
oh
and
yeah,
what was sold
uh,
it, lost it, and had it stolen from him or something?
yeah, and like
Like I said,
how
just
and then how King's
the way the cast has just been bouncing off each other,
yeah.
just out. Like I'm not sure if I'd call it my favorite, but it has become one of my favorite of
Yeah,
this
the
season.
way the cast really bounces off each other is, I'd say it's probably my second favorite this season, right behind Rage of Bahamut, because they're all their personalities feel so different, but they bounce off each other so freaking well.
Hmm
And yeah, so let's see, what was it? Oh yeah, the whole thing with the treasures, how King was commenting on how alone they could probably pick up, like using the symbolism of the pond, how alone they could probably grasp a little bit of the water, but with
hmm
the sacred treasure they could pretty much bring out the whole water from the pond.
Like, actually, this actually sort of reminds me of something that might interest a stranger because it actually reminds me of this one thing they do in the Wheel of Time where they use these things. The power in the Wheel of Time that people use is called the one true power, and they'll call it like the source. And the whole comparison to like the lake or the pond thing that they did in Seven Deadly Sins reminded me of like taking the whole thing of them taking it out. The way they explained it very much reminded me of Wheel of Time, and then the whole the sacred treasure reminded me of these things that can amplify power in the Wheel of Time called the Angreals, or I can't remember what Sangreal or something. What is it, stranger?
Angrill and Sangrill.
Yeah, reminded me very much of that.
Mm.
So when I was watching it, that's what made me like it even more because it sort of drew upon either accidentally or maybe I don't know, probably accidentally if I had to guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reminded me of the Wheel of Time,
Yeah. Yeah.
the way I explained it.
Yeah, and then another thing about the whole his comment on the how they all stole or sold their treasure, how he's
Hmm.
like lambasting both King and Melodis, but then when he gets to Diane, she's like putting her hair between her face and covering her face and trying to act all cute to King, and
Yeah. It's
he's
like you're
like,
just fine, don't worry.
yeah. So really great characterization, and I like, and I'm very much looking forward to the next episode. How like the whole competition for the giant hammer, and how it's
Hmm.
like there's a whole bunch of holy knights there.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see uh, how that progresses.
Hmm. I'm wondering who those people were. Those Holy Knights that were
Yeah,
commenting. Is
I
like
think they were holy knights. Yes, I know at least one of them was, but I think the
the
others
one
were
guy
as
who like
well.
seemed completely oblivious. He's like, fellow competition. I
Yeah,
don't really.
I think he might have been I think he might have been like trying to fool them or something. I'm not sure. Maybe like he, the thing I got from his character was he's pretty much looking on the positive side of life, so he's
Hmm.
sort of more lighter hearted and sort of more positive. So I think he's basically giving that away for his personality, while at the same time he sort of does know that they are the seven deadly sins.
Hmm.
So I think that's how it'll play out. Now the other characters I wasn't quite sure if they were holy knights or not. I think they might be, but yeah, definitely looking forward to more. All right. Did you watch I can't understand what my husband is saying, stranger?
Nope.
Nope. Okay then.
I literally woke up just for the podcast.
Okay then. I guess any other simulcasts you wanted to talk about?
Not
Yeah, the
particularly.
Shirobako, but we don't really talk about that long, so
Eh.
not gonna bother with that.
Just
All
like
right.
I don't really talk about Shigatsu wa Kimi no so
Or I don't really talk that much about Garo.
yeah, we all have a series like that.
Yeah. All right. I guess moving on. Other anime we've been watching. So let's see. How about you, Alex?
Well, like I told you, still watching Ghost Stories, still watching
Yeah.
Uncommon Under the Bridge,
I
and
heard you got to
Stranger.
the
Yeah.
bunny episode, right?
Oh my God, I love. I absolutely. It's like here's the thing. That's essentially what it felt like in that episode. Is like officially the episode where it's like they're like just sort of wiped everything off the table. It's like screw it, we're just gonna fuck around with this one. Because
Basically.
the one line when the giant rabbit like killed everything, and they were looking at the wreckage. Like I've loved the one line this the girls they improvised. It's like a Rabbit Jonestown, and it's, oh man, and the fact they were just pretty much like insulting her the entire time is like
Pretty
freak,
much.
creep.
And then there's that whole scene where she's talking to the bunny and is like, my friends over there think you're some sort of rabbit murderer. No, I don't think that. And then she's like reaching in her arm, and then she's like commenting on how this is the part where she'll reach her hand into the cave, totally trusting him
Yeah.
and expecting him not to attack her. And then when he starts growing bigger, she's like, "You son of a bitch!"
uh, there was also the one. I love the one line where the main character calls the animal chick Miss Watership Town because I thought that was hilarious.
And then there's later in the episode when the bunny's attacking them in the old schoolhouse, and then she's commenting on how good commenting on her past with the rabbit, and it's like the way he laughed, and the bunny's just like, and then how his what's it
It's like if he has like a black
comment?
voice, it's like pet me harder. It's like pet
No,
me harder.
it's touch me, and then it's like touch me harder.
and
And then there's
just that the entire time is like it's like you cheated on me and all that. It's like something like that.
Yeah, and then
And
there's that
also,
last part where it's like, not because you're a rabbit, but because you're black.
it just became. It's just that episode just became the most absurd thing. It's like
and and
they
of
looked at
course,
everything. It's like, well, screw it. They just like threw the script away.
and my favorite part is that last part where the teacher guy comes in with the new bunnies, and they're asking like, where do they come from, and then he's basically gives a very weird person the bees talk about how like you see this the boy bunny has a thing called a penis,
It's
and
like
then he
once he sticks it in her, that penis is hers or
no,
something
it's
like that.
like once he sticks
Or
it in
she owns that penis.
the girl bunny thinks that she owns that penis. Oh god, that dub series just gets at that point. It pretty much is when the dub starts going pretty much nonsensical at that point and just hilarious.
Also, the one part that also cracked me up was when the track episode when it's the running
Oh
ghost.
yeah, the bootylicious.
It's like yeah. It's also there was also pretend a black man's chasing you and he's not reacting. I was like, oh, I guess he's not racist. I was cracking up at that part.
Yeah.
So not only was I am I on the Ghost Stories dub, I also started because Stranger bribed me. As he in his own words, Higurashi, and I'm
Yes,
actually really enjoying it.
which I
So,
did not expect.
well, that's like I explained to you when we were talking on Steam. Like, and I was also explaining to my brother. I think some of the things that I can't really handle is like when it's just violence for the sake of violence and horror. When it's like does stuff like that. But if you have like a mystery and like sort of combine it with like intrigue, just general intrigue, that's when I can get into something. And that's pretty much what Higarashi's been. Because you're saying like besides I'm starting to get violent at points, but thus far 10 episodes in, uh, really hasn't been anything that would turn me away.
Yeah,
Now
the
certainly
violence
might
in
be,
the
but
series very much serves a purpose to help progress the plot along.
yeah.
As you can
I
see
will, I
just
will say the
how
one
screwed
part,
up
the
things
one
get.
part, and the one episode I watched earlier, the one part that like made me like was when the demon that was in what's her name Mion, or I
Yeah,
guess had taken over her, was pretty much explaining that she was gonna drive 15 nails into his to what's his name again? The main character's appendages.
Keiichi.
Yeah, Keiichi. And I was like, she was just explaining him like, ugh. But even then, it's like they didn't actually do it,
Again, really like a scene from
except at the end,
Archive.
because except at the end, when she kills him or like whatever she does to him.
Yeah, what do you
And
think happened at the end of that? I'm curious to
I don't
know.
know. It implies she would have killed him really, because she killed everybody else. So yeah, like even I'm surprised I like it as much as I do. When like I said, I really with stuff like with stuff that had like built on suspense or like built the stuff on suspense and like general intrigue. I could take that kind of horror because that's pretty much the reason why I liked Fear as much as I did. And it's
Yeah,
like I said, it's pretty much sort of exactly the same case in with Higurashi, in my opinion.
like I said, come for the mystery and intrigue and stay for the fantastic characters.
Yeah.
Because you're
There's
gonna
actually
start.
someone I talked to on Twitter made a good point about Higurashi. He called it murder moe. And I just thought that was like from what I had seen at that point, it's a pretty apt description.
It's just like these super cute anime characters just
Because
sitting
when I
there killing each other horribly violently.
like here's the thing, the one when I watched the first episode, I almost completely forgot you saw Keiichi kill two people with baseball bats because it was like such sort of pleasant in that first episode. But I will say in the opening when they have Rena before the opening closes out, when they have Rena with the machete or whatever chopping thing she has over her shoulder
Mhm.
and she just looks at the camera, just like man, she just seems like she'll fuck anything up.
Man, she's awesome.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
probably gonna watch. Probably I watched 4 episodes earlier today. I'm probably gonna watch two more at some point tonight. So I'll make episode count 12 in overall just 2 days, which is strange for me. I haven't marathon something this much as Steins Gate or since Steins Gate.
I would say actually go ahead and make it to episode 13 because That's the end of the next arc.
Yeah.
And then after that, you
I
start
like
getting into the
depending on
answer arcs.
really it just all depends on how I was feeling. I was sort of thinking maybe I should just watch the 7 just so I could end the first arc. We'll see because I generally yesterday I sort of felt like 6 wasn't a good number to stop off at. So I'll just see how I feel later today. So
Well, the
yeah.
first arc was at 4 episodes, and the second one was eighth, and the third arc ends at the 13th.
Hmm. All right. Yeah,
So
like I said,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just surprised I like it as much as I do. But
I'm
like
really
it's
glad I
very I
found that
find it
out
very
because
enjoyable.
I was not
Mhm.
expecting that. Completely
It's
took
just
me
funny
by
because you
surprise.
like you just pretty much got onto Steam like right before you went to work last night. And you just like wanted me to give my take on it.
Yeah, I
'Cause you're
saw
just
that
like so
tweet from
happy
you, and
about
you were like, "What? He actually likes it?"
like I said, from the first episode, like it sets up this intrigue, and it's just weird because in terms of the more like quieter moments when killing and horror isn't going on, it's actually a pleasant show to watch in my opinion.
Yeah, so you're starting to see why I like it, and you're not even into that fantastic second season yet. Like that's what weaves all the story together and just makes it like truly magnificent.
Hmm. Yeah.
And then you can watch the first episode of Higurashi Kira later on.
Uh,
You can feel
I'm
my
not sure. I'm not
pain.
sure. Whenever I finish, I'm not even sure when. Like, for all I know, I might watch them immediately. Like, alongside. You just want me to finish the main series before 2014 is out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'll probably go a little slower with the OVAs and whatnot, but I do intend to watch them at some point.
Oh man, you're gonna suffer. That first episode is so freaking bad. But
So wait,
and
both
you did
OVAs, both. Well, finish. Go ahead.
and you did have me watch the rest of Higurashi Kira, and I was supposed to talk about that last week.
It's weird because you seem to have generally enjoyed it.
Yeah, it actually was not terrible,
Huh.
which really freaked me out. Like it
Things
wasn't
aren't
great,
happening,
but
but
it
they should the way you should be.
So wait, are the
Are we on the
OVAs?
right timeline?
like we diverged off of it into a beta timeline.
Hmm.
We
You
should.
I was
gotta
gonna
you got
say,
to email JJ.
No, I think I'll stay on this timeline. Get the get one of the bad endings.
so wait, are the OVAs more comedy then, or does one of them build on the rest, like horror aspects of the series?
There's a couple of serious episodes, but most of them are just comedy and fan service.
Hmm.
Which there was still some fan service in the later episodes of Kira, but it wasn't nearly as horrible as the first episode. Like the second episode of Kira has Rika and Satoko being magical girls.
Oh, so it's basically as sort of Omake-ish, sort of.
Well, it's full episodes.
Yeah,
Like I'm not
full.
exactly sure what that is, but
Yeah, but
that's
sort of
just
just not. None of them are exactly the. They're not really going off the same thing. They're just sort of going out there with the series.
kind of yeah.
Mm.
And then that third episode of it is Keiichi trying to decide between dating Reina and Mion or Shion, and he ends up dating Shion's grandmother. I actually posted a tweet about that saying that's what happens when you don't go harem route. And then
And
the
then
fourth
the fourth
episode
episode
was
Echo.
some sort of shit. I don't even remember. Yeah, but there was still some fan service in it, but it wasn't that bad. There was one point where Reina saw Keiichi nude and started talking about wanting to take his Frankfurter home. She likes to
See that?
comment on that. She kept talking about his fursuit and Ray. Yeah, OVA was still messed up though.
Alright. Alright. Uh,
I'm glad
was
you're enjoying it.
yeah. Anything else, Socks?
Nah, nah, nothing more.
All right. I didn't watch anything this week. So anything from you, stranger?
Oh man. Like, of course, I did finish that Yu Hakusho manga, and like I can't really say too much about it except it's probably still my favorite shonen series. Like the characters, I think are all done really well in it,
Yeah.
and it manages to stay consistent throughout. Like especially the Dark Tournament arc and all that.
Yeah, I remember certain things about it, and I think I remember the characters being pretty good.
I want to revisit it at some point
Yeah.
because this is still the king of the battle shonens.
Yeah, I definitely need to eventually get back to watching it again, like right from the start. But yeah.
And then I also watched a bunch of OVAs. Like I watched that little 10-minute
10-minute
VLR
VLR
OVA,
OVA.
which that was like a kind of half-ass commercial, honestly.
Honestly. I don't know. When I watched that, sort of to me made it feel like it could possibly work as an anime.
The wait, what are you talking about?
VLR,
There was an
Virtual
OV
Last
for
Reward.
that?
There was no VA. It's pretty much like Stranger said, sort of a glorified commercial for it.
Hmm.
But to me, I think it could work as a series to me.
Well, dude, that's not spoiler at the end of VLR. I'm not really sure how well that will work out.
I'm sure they could figure out something.
If nothing else, they can go a different path.
I mean, it's a pretty big thing that happens at the end of VLR. I'm not sure if you ever plan on playing it.
I have no idea.
Okay, then I'll leave that off for now. Just just to let you know, there's a something in there that would make it really hard to do an anime of it.
The only thing I could say is that it's supposed to be from Sigma's perspective. That's the thing. It takes a lot of even when you think about the game afterwards, when at the reveal, it takes a lot of suspension of disbelief to believe certain things. Like sort of, unless JJ plays, I don't really want to discuss it. So
Yeah, I really have no idea if I'll actually pick up the games or not.
you should. I think you'd enjoy
And
them.
they're
Yeah,
really good.
yeah. I just
And they're
have so much
I think
other
the plot.
stuff
I
to
think
do.
the plot twists, especially in VLR, might sort of like you might be like, this is just stupid. But
Mm.
I personally do think you like them because they're pretty much like puzzle VNs if you want to get technical.
Mm. All right.
then
Uh,
I watched the Nisekoi OVA. It was just more delicious trolling. I watched
Uh,
the Little Busters OVA, Dead Man Wonderland OVA, Setai no Ichizan OVA, and then I finally watched the very last piece of Higurashi I'd never seen before, which was Higurashi Kaku.
mm.
And that was just like an hour long badass episode, alternate history episode that ended up with them kind of going like a Mad Max type route. And if they continue that OVA, it would be one of the greatest things ever.
All
Like
right.
at the end of it, it's like the entire world's getting wiped out, and like most of the main cast of Higurashi is sitting there and going out into the world that's kind of turning into The Last of Us.
Mm.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. If they ever continue that OVA, it will be amazing.
Mm.
So I finally ran across a Higurashi OVA that I loved. I didn't think it was possible. I think I ended up giving it like a 9.5 out of 10.
Mm.
saw they also tried to watch the extra episodes of what's it called? No Game No Life.
Oh no, no! It just went incesty real quick, and no,
I was like
like
so flabbergasted when I watched the first episode
yeah, I
or
was
the
just like
first one. I
one
was like,
minute
oh,
in. No, no, screw this. I'm going. Screw this all. Screw everyone who came up with this concept. There was a couple other things I think I tried to start too, and just like none of them were working out.
Mm.
hmm.
Yeah, there were all these short episodes and stuff that I was like, no, this is really bad.
Um, yeah. Anything else?
Yeah. Oh, just all those RVAs.
Yeah. Okay, I guess moving on. News. So let's see. Season 2 of Tokyo Ghoul begins January 8th, and for some reason will be called Route A. like just the square root over an A. Hmm.
This is completely the square root of A.
Ah,
Fall for it.
didn't think A had a square root. Normally that's X. Yeah. And that's, let's see. I guess I guess something you might like, Alex. The Dog and Six Scissors English dubcast hasn't been announced, and
As soon as I saw Jessica Calvello, I
yep.
was wondering how it turned out. Because she's playing
Act,
the main character, she's fairly
yeah,
restrained.
yeah,
So I was wondering how it turned out. Because I haven't really. I maybe watched one series with Jessica Calvello, where she's not fucking lunatic like she is in XL Saga, but uh, I'm interested in it. I'll probably once it probably actually comes out, once there's like clips available, I'll probably check it out.
yeah. I'll probably also check it out as well. And I guess that's the only news I actually have. Anything
I
else?
have, I have some more, but one more OVA I try to watch. I was trying to watch these Chunibyo Ren specials, and literally 1 minute after I started the specials, I said, nope. Or I said, haha, no, fuck this. I hate these characters now after season 2.
Yeah. And I suppose, well, as we mentioned before, the Nozaki OVA is going to be released soon. The beach episode one.
Mhm.
I need it. Need more Nozaki.
Need more polka dots. Actually, really, the main thing we need is more Kajima holding us princess style.
Need more
No,
Slither Bishonens.
we also need more boxes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyways, any other news?
Not that I can think of.
Okay. First of all,
Echo.
there was that Ichikashi anime that Alex was talking about earlier.
Oh yeah, the wait, what?
Mappa's
It's
next anime.
Oh yeah, MAPPA. Yeah, they announced.
I'm gonna look up the name really quick. So
Punchline,
keep on going.
Yeah, Punchline.
Yeah.
and the tagline for it is "Humanity goes extinct if I see your pennies." So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
that's a thing.
and it's written by the VLR writer.
I don't understand. This does not add up, man.
Yeah. All right. I guess. Oh, what?
I still have a couple more.
All right. Go ahead.
The Anohana team is coming out with an anime called, I am going to butcher this title, kokkuri-san Da.
Is there an English
Or
name for it, or?
The Heart Wants to Shout.
Hmm. I've not heard of that one till
Yeah,
now.
it just now got announced yesterday.
Hmm.
And since I liked Anohana really well, I'm looking forward to seeing what that's like. But there's not really much news about it yet.
Hmm. So
And then
is it based off of like a light novel or manga or visual novel, or is it an original series? Echo.
I'm not sure. Like I've heard like almost nothing about it. All
Hmm.
I heard was that the title was finally announced.
Hmm. So it might be an original series.
Could be.
And
And then finally, Neon Genesis Evangelion is getting released on Blu-ray,
hmm.
which that is really hype. Like it's been said that it's been unlicensable for a while now. They finally managed to re-release it.
Was it owned by Bondi before?
I'm not sure. Like I know
Because if
Gainax had
yeah,
part in it,
because if it was Bondi, then that makes sense why it was unlicensed. But yeah,
and then like they're releasing both movies too. So end of
did
Evangelion
did
and
Funimation
Death
get
Rebirth.
that, or was it a different company?
There's been no news of a US release yet, but
Hmm.
so far it's finally getting re-released in Japan.
Well, I think Funimation has the movies to it, so it would be weird if they didn't pick up the series.
Yeah, and if they release it, I would definitely buy it, and I really hope they keep their original dub
Hmm.
because it
Well,
was a
Funimation
really
usually
good
doesn't.
classic '90s dub.
If there's like an original dub, the Funimation usually probably won't redub it because that would be more work than needs to be done.
So yeah, I
So,
would definitely get that because it's still a really good series even 20 years later.
All right. Any other news?
Nope.
All right. Moving on, games or VNs we recommend. So, how about you, Alex?
I know I recommended this during the Halloween episode, but probably I'm just gonna recommend Binding of Isaac, the re-released one, Rebirth, I think it is. This is a pretty good remake of the game, and I've been playing it for a little bit. So,
I thought you were gonna recommend Sonic.
what happened?
I thought you were gonna recommend Sonic. You got all the games now from the Humble Bundle.
Well, oh, maybe I'll get that. I mean, I sort of held from recommending the Sonic Racing 2 because I haven't played it. I've only played like 2 hours. But I will say that, like, I'll recommend that. You know, if you played the first one, it's a lot better than the set. If you played the first one, the second one's a lot better. At least
The
I'm more impressed
unbelievable
with it.
Matt the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about how much Tim Curry sucks with all the Sonic reviews. He's just a hater, man.
Yeah.
And that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are my two recommendations.
All right. Guess me. I'll. I guess I'll just re-recommend Warframe again since I really love that game. And how about you, stranger?
I will actually recommend something that hasn't been recommended before. Legend of Zelda series. I've started replaying Wind Waker and it's still pretty fun.
Yeah.
And then Majora's Mask is re-releasing next year, and Ocarina of Time 3D remake is really great. So there's a lot of the games you can get now that are updated, and it's still one of the best series ever.
All right. Any other games we want to recommend? No.
Nope.
All right. I guess we'll move on to anime we recommend. So how about you start us off, stranger?
More Higurashi after watching the OVA.
Okay. And you, Alex?
Arakawa Under the Bridge.
Hmm. All right. Me, I'm going to recommend Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, as it's probably one of the most brilliantly smart cyberpunk crime drama series that really doesn't have an equal, honestly.
He
And
says complex.
what? Oh, yeah. And sometimes it's standalone, some of the episodes. But yeah, it's honestly does have one of the most interesting and well-developed worlds I've seen in an anime, and just how it can be pretty intelligent in some of the subject matter it brings up, and honestly, it's a series that's definitely worth your time to check out, the series doesn't actually fit on the same timeline exactly with the movie, so it doesn't make a difference which you watch first. Actually, Alex, have you actually watched Ghost in the Shell?
Oh, I haven't.
Well, I've been
Not
thinking
not
that,
the movie at
yeah,
least. Not the movie at least.
the
So not.
series?
I've seen various episodes of the
Yeah.
series, but never from the beginning.
Yeah, I think you
I've never
definitely,
watched the movie.
I think you'd actually like the series because it sort of progresses along with a interesting sort of main storyline that's,
Well, I've
yeah.
always wanted to check it out.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it, honestly.
I'd
It has,
actually, going back to my recommendation, I actually highly suggest you check out um, Atakawa Under the Bridge.
yeah.
So I think its humor is like right up your alley
Yeah,
as well.
I'll eventually check it out. It's just well, probably won't be doing much anime watching over finals week, but yeah, maybe I'll have time. I'll have to see what I'm going to check out because I'm still in the middle of the 12 Kingdoms, though. Since I
Mhm.
ordered the DVD from Right Stuff out of the cell, I'll probably be finishing it up first. Though I only have like 10 or so episodes left, I think. Anyways, I
Oh,
guess. Oh,
is
what?
the world of Ghost in the Shell standalone complex as rich and nuanced as Himegoto?
Him- No.
All the great world building in that series.
No, no. And now you made me think of the jiggles. Uh, package
Crotch
jigger.
jiggle, man.
Oh, unnecessary crotch jiggle.
This is the fan service you need.
Now I'm thinking of the scene where uh he he inadvertently flashes a large crowd and like two kids are like, uh, is that Oni-chan and One-chan or something? Or maybe I got that backwards.
What?
There is basically, and then the crowd goes into full applause for. Oh God, why did I watch that series? Why?
You have to finish it now.
Oh God, no! I'll just leave the last episode. No, no, I'll leave the last episode unwatched.
You just
Did you ever
don't want
finish?
to have to
You
tell
ever
people you
finish?
finished it.
Did you ever finish Momokyun?
No, I have not.
You should at the very least finish that.
I think I'd rather finish Goto than that, because at least it's only a couple minutes long.
You gotta finish both before next podcast.
No.
Give your glowing review for both
Oh.
of
No. Oh God.
them. This is like my flashbacks to the first episode of Kira.
Just why did I watch that?
Let me see the crotch jiggle in your sleep now.
Oh God.
That was officially the point of Himegoto where I was like, yeah, this I'm not gonna watch any more of this.
Oh God.
And I can normally, I mean, not this is coming from someone who watched comics, comic artists and his assistants, and then the nipple scene in that.
Oh God, that nipples. Even that nipple
I'm
scene.
glad I dropped that.
The breastfeeding scene. Anywho, I guess moving on. Hopefully you enjoyed this week's episode of Divergence Cast. If you would like to subscribe to our channel, please do so and share us with your friends. And you are most certainly encouraged to do so. Additionally, if you would like to follow us on Twitter, all of our usernames will be in the blog post or description. Additionally, you can follow us on My Anime List and Ask.m under the same usernames if we have them. And until next time, bye bye.
Later.
Peace, yo.